My boyfriend's 30M best friend, 30F, tried to sabotage our relationship and has ruined other friendships. Is it unfair of me, 29F, to give him an ultimatum? My boyfriend, 30M, and I, 29F, have been together for over 4 years and we have been talking about marriage and building a future together for a while now. He has known Tiffany, 30F, for over 15 years. Tiffany has always rubbed me the wrong way. From the start of our relationship, she has never tried to get to know me. In fact, she would only make weird or snarky comments basically trying to assert her claim over him. At first I would just ignore these comments and snarky messages that she would send me. My boyfriend would acknowledge these comments in private and tell me to ignore them because she has always been a queen bee. He would never tell her to stop or stand up to her because in a weird way, he is constantly scared of upsetting her. I am not worried that he has feelings for her because he has rejected her in the past and she is engaged. Since COVID, we have been careful and have basically isolated since March. On the other hand, Tiffany and the rest of his friend group have been partying it up. The trouble started in May, when Tiffany invited my boyfriend, and me by extension, to a huge party she was throwing. No masks, no social distancing, and indoor dining. Obviously I said no. It's extremely irresponsible. Plus we live in a hot spot. My boyfriend was guilted into going. We got into a huge fight because we lived together and he expected me to isolate with my parents so he could quarantine in the apartment after the party. This is still a point of contention for us because I truly believe that if he is willing to take the risk, he should be the one to isolate elsewhere, instead of trying to kick me out of my own apartment. In the end, we compromised and he only went for a bit for outdoors and wore his mask the entire time. The week after the party, Tiffany and his other friends called and had an intervention for him. It was clear that Tiffany had convinced all his friends that I was abusive, controlling, and manipulative. She claimed I had threatened to kick him out if he saw his friends. His friends, who had never had a problem with me before, said so many weird things that it became clear Tiffany was the instigator. Now, all his friends hate me, all because I didn't think partying during a pandemic was a good idea. They tried multiple times to convince him to break up with me. He did not defend me, even though he knew I would never do the things they claimed I was doing. They also did not confront me directly, and prior to the pandemic, I never tried to stop him from seeing or contacting his friends or from doing anything he wanted to do. After this whole debacle, we ended up in relationship counseling. Counselor helped my boyfriend realize that trust had been broken because he did not stand up for me when I could not stand up for myself. The counselor also advised me to be patient and to understand that old dynamics are hard to break. I have been patient, however, it has been 7 months and I'm out of patience. My boyfriend did end up calling Tiffany and told her to stop spreading lies. She refused to listen and he didn't push it with her. My boyfriend is the type of person who wants to forgive and forget, but unfortunately I just can't erase all the hurt she caused in the past and how she has affected other friendships going forward. Recently, the subject of her wedding came up. I foolishly still thought he would immediately reject the invitation because of all the pain she put us through, but he did not. He feels that he needs to go support her as she has been a good friend in the past. She has not apologized and still maintains that I'm the worst person in the world. BTW. Friends, I am at the end of my rope. I never talk to her and we really only see her once or twice a year. I have friends who have been abused and helped them get out of bad situations, so to be accused of such terrible things is extremely hurtful. It's even more hurtful realizing that my boyfriend is seemingly unwilling to let her go. I know ultimatums are bad, but I cannot tolerate this for the rest of my life. Would it be unfair to ask my boyfriend to choose between myself or Tiffany? Too long didn't read. Boyfriend's best friend tried to break us up by spreading lies about me. Boyfriend wants to forgive and forget. I want him to end their friendship. Is it unfair to ask my boyfriend to choose between us? Edit. Wow, words can't describe how overwhelmed I am right now. I think some part of me hoped to be in the wrong, just so I could hold on a bit longer. But you guys said what I already knew to be true in my gut. So thank you for helping me face reality. I'm sorry I haven't been able to answer all your comments, but please know I read every single one and appreciate all your input. Don't pose it as an ultimatum and give him the power to choose between you and her. This isn't just about Tiffany. This is about you and what you need to feel good and safe in your relationship. Think about that instead. If one of the things you need is to not constantly have to worry or be subjected to someone else's rude behavior and remarks, and if you need your partner to be on your side unless you have actually done something gravely wrong yourself, then be your own advocate and state those needs once and for all. If your boyfriend doesn't accept or want to fulfill those needs of yours, and this is the only decision he should get to make in all of this, then you should leave so as to avoid remaining in a relationship with someone who doesn't respect you. However, this only works if you are strong enough to actually stand by yourself and follow through. I cannot be with someone who puts the needs of a rude person ahead of mine is a perfectly normal boundary to have, but you have to then also acknowledge it as a non-negotiable boundary and leave him if he doesn't recognize it as important or reasonable. I have stated my needs and in the moment he always promises he'll defend me. I feel like we're always on the same page until we're not, if that makes sense. I'm prepared to walk away. I can't live like this. There are so many bigger, more important things to stress about, and this all just feels so ridiculous. I hate to say it, but it sounds like he's already chosen, otherwise he'd be calling Tiffany on her shit. He was quite literally already chosen Tiffany several times. No, because he is putting you through all this shit by extension. You deserve a healthy relationship, not one that will create constant stress and worry because he's too scared of upsetting his friend. Yeah, the constant stress has been really bad for my mental health this past year. I've lost so much hair from the stress frown. I only read half your post. Why are you interested in this guy? Doesn't support you, expects you to reroute your entire life for a friend who obviously wants him. You're okay that he doesn't defend you from attacks by people who don't know you. Why? Does he agree? This guy is a giant red flag. Forgot Tiffany. He doesn't value you as much as you seem to value him, and you will be hurt and upset for as long as you're with him. Dit grandma. He's supportive and great in all ways until she gets involved. She lives 5 hours away and we barely see or talk to her, so life is good until she randomly pops up and causes chaos. I was fine just ignoring her and living my life, but this was the biggest blow up that actually had consequences. Girl, what are you talking about? He's already showed you his choice, and it's not you. It never has been. I hate to say it because you seem like a wonderful and thoughtful person, but he's too much of a coward to pick you. Every time he has consistently picked her and her feelings. Even after counseling he still picks her. Don't hurt yourself further by continuing this. Put you first. My girlfriend, 18, lives with me and is actively making my life hell, and I don't know how to get rid of her. My girlfriend literally takes pleasure in my unhappiness. When we started dating early last year, I felt really lucky. She was way out of my league and I was very eager to try and tie her down. So when she had troubles at home, I spoke to my family and I offered to let her stay with me. I'm scared I'm stuck with her now, so I'm just gonna list some things she does that are making me so unhappy in a random order. 1. I've never been so certain of how inferior I am to Simone. She never lets me forget that. She constantly talks about how she could get any of my friends and how lucky I am that she chose me. 2. I can't talk to any of my friends in her presence without her either having a mental breakdown, embarrassing me about something, or just hijacking the conversation. 3. She acts as if she's suspicious that I'm being unfaithful when literally no one would ever have any reason to suspect that. Literally I'm a nerd with no game who doesn't talk to any girls, but still I have to sit and listen to go crazy about things I would never do. 4. We have both had mutual physical altercations. I'm not proud of it, but I'm very careful in trying to get her to stop when she's going hard trying to hurt me. She has slapped me, punched me, scratched me, bit me and spat on me. This has happened publicly too. A few weeks ago, for example, I was at my friend's and before I went she made a big deal out of the fact she doesn't see why I get to go out when she doesn't, so she came with me. The whole time I was there she was just annoying and bitchy. After she said something I responded with a sarcastic response like "this is why you're so popular" or something, and she slapped me and spat right in my face and I reactively swept her legs out and she started screaming. 5. She wakes me up and will will not ever let me sleep in if she's awake. If she wakes me up and I go back to sleep, she literally sticks her fingers in my nose or my mouth. If I pretend to be asleep, she gets her lighter and puts it near me so I have to move. 6. She is like two different people when it comes to my parents. She is their favorite ever person and I literally can't see a way of convincing them to kick her out that wouldn't blow up in my face. Even right now I'm seething. I fucking hate her. I want her gone out of my life, but I have no idea what to do. The worst part is when I'm at my lowest, she's at her highest. She likes looking down on me suffering. She legitimately takes pleasure in it. I'm not in a good place right now. I would really appreciate some advice on how I can get rid of her. We are both 18 to be clear. I'm sorry, she clearly is an abusing person and it's not something you have to tolerate any longer. I would suggest explaining it all to your parents just like you did there. You are their child. I'm sure they care more about your happiness than this girl's. You just tell her, I'm sorry but this is not working out, our relationship is over and I want you to move out as soon as possible. She has no right to make you feel inferior and to hit you. This is very serious and toxic behavior. If you stay with her, you will only feel miserable all the time and it's going to get worse. Get your parents to back you up, or just give them a heads up, and throw her out. Wish you good luck. Definitely kick her out. This is an abusive relationship, but the advice I really want to give you is more for helping prevent this kind of situation long term. Some of the language you're using right off the bat is a red flag that shows a fundamental misunderstanding about what a relationship should be. She was way out of my league. I was eager to tie her down. Dating isn't about trying to find someone who ranks as high as possible on a scale of attractive features, whether that's looks, like it seems to be in this case, or but he's a doctor or whatever. It's about meeting someone you really get along with, you want to be around, you share values with, etc. It should be like a really close friend but better, with romance and physicality. Sure, physical attraction is important, but that has to be alongside actually liking them. And beauty is subjective. I've found myself actively attracted to features I wouldn't necessarily, choose in a character creation screen of my ideal partner. But when they were on people I liked and shared that energy with, they became attractive. This all that matters is whose hottest mentality seems like it's part of what's driving her mistreatment of you two. She chose you because she knew there'd be that insecurity gap for her to exploit. Anyway, she's a nightmare. Please break up with her. Kick her out and change the locks. This is a very simple solution. Break up with her. Tell your parents how she's been treating you and why you're ending the relationship. Tell them how terrified you've been of telling them because she puts on a good act for them and you know how much they like her. Be completely honest. Hell, show them this post. This can't continue. End it no matter what. Right now. Today. You're in an abusive relationship. It's hard to come to terms with, and I'm sorry you're dealing with this, but I'm glad you're asking for help. First, I want you to know this is not normal and this is not okay. No one deserves to be treated this way. Second, I want you to tell your parents everything you just wrote here. If it makes it easier on you, send them this post so you feel less confrontation. They are your parents. They are there to support and love you. Tell them how you feel and that, honestly, you don't feel safe in this house anymore because you are consistently berated and abused and you need space and time to heal. I am sorry this is happening. I hope that you are okay and you will get past this. Smile. My boyfriend, 27 meters, doesn't think I'm 23F, entitled to privacy when I'm in the restroom. 2 weeks ago, I was at my boyfriend's house in the bathroom doing something private when my boyfriend literally barges in to show me something. Luckily I just got done with what I was doing so he didn't see. On instinct I was like, dude, don't just barge in here. He looked really offended like WTF. After I finished up in the bathroom I went to apologize because I can tell he was upset by my response. I said, I'm sorry for snapping, but can you please knock when I'm in there? I thought it would end there, but nope. He goes, no, you need to just lock doors, in this harsh tone. I respond, okay, but you knew I was in there with the door closed. Why are you mad at me? It turned into a huge fight and he eventually told me to leave. His argument is that it's his house, he can do what he wants because he's used to living alone. He said he grew up within a family where people locked doors, otherwise that's an invitation to enter. I grew up with people knocking. Thought we were past that, but today we got into another argument where he called me controlling. He used the knocking incident as an example. He literally said he doesn't see why he has to knock if he's seen every part of my body. Apparently he asked all his co-workers advice on the situation and they all said I'm tripping. He said I'm trying to control his house and how he does things. My boyfriend also said, so if you were my wife you think I just have to knock on every door? I'm not married nor have I been in a long-term relationship, but I think all couples need privacy sometimes. I plan on locking the door when I want privacy from now on, but it was just the principle of him acting like I'm not entitled to privacy. Am I actually tripping though? Edit. This incident happened last weekend but the post never went through. It's saved to my drafts. I dumped him yesterday, but now I wanted to post this to know for sure how wrong either one of us were. Thank you for the help. Haven't been holding up well, but I know I made the right decision every time I reread this. We were a new couple and this is just one of the red flags.